Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Priyanka Neela Krishnan Show with me, Priyanka Neela Krishnan, and this is Enterprise Security Series, episode 34. And today's topic is Trust Me, I'm an agent. Your AI just gave you an answer. Now, can you prove where it came from? Picture a Monday morning stand up. An AI agent has done the prep, it drops a clean, confident summary into the channel before anyone has finished their coffee. Revenue is tracking a certain way this quarter. This customer is at risk of churning. This control is failing an audit. The team reads it, nods, and starts making decisions off it. Reallocating people, calling the customer, escalating to the board. Now, I'm going to ask one question and want you to imagine the silence that follows it. Where did that number come from? Which system did the agent pull it from? Whose data was in there? Was the agent even authorized to read it? In most rooms, nobody can answer. The decision has already been made, and it was made on an answer that no one is building can trace. In security, we have a very specific word for a claim you cannot verify. We call it a risk. And a lot of enterprises are now running at speed on a steady stream of confident, unverifiable answers. This is the moment it starts to bite. Because we crossed a line recently, we stopped using AI to suggest and started using it to decide. When a tool merely drafts something a human reviews, a wrong answer is an inconvenience. But when an agent's output feeds the next agent's action with no human in between, a wrong answer becomes an action and then a consequence before anyone thinks to look. Here is the thing we got backwards in the rush. We taught ourselves to trust the output because it sounds so good. And that is exactly the trap. A language model is fluent by design. It produces clean, confident, well-structured prose, no matter what is underneath it. But fluency is not truth, and fluency is definitely not provenance. Provenance is the ability to trace an answer back to its origin. Which records, whose data, what permission was used to read them, what path the information took to reach you. When a human analyst hands you a number, you can ask, and then they can point to the source. When an agent hands you the same number, that chain is usually just gone. You're looking at a beautifully worded conclusion with nothing attached to it, and that is not intelligence. It is a very persuasive guess. And this is not me being paranoid. It is now formally recognized when OWASP published its top 10 for agentic applications at the end of 2025, a peer-reviewed framework built with more than 100 security experts and endorsed by the likes of NIST and Microsoft. Several of the top risks are exactly this failure. Memory and context poisoning is ASI 06. That is where an attacker quietly seeds an agent's memory or its knowledge base so that its future answers are subtle, deliberately wrong, and it will deliver those poisoned answers in the same calm, confident voice as everything else. Human agent trust exploitation is ASI 09, which is the polite technical name for us who were trusting a machine that has earned our trust simply by sounding sure of itself. And that is a real documented attack called EcoLeak, where a hidden instruction inside an ordinary looking email hijacked an assistant into leaking data. The through line across all of these is the same. Without lineage, you cannot tell a poisoned answer, a stale answer, or an invented answer apart from a correct one. They all arrive looking identical. So here is the reframe, and it is the one I care most about as someone who has spent a career in data security. Provenance is not a feature you wait for the AI vendor to ship. It is a data security control and it belongs to you. Stop thinking of it as the model's job to be trustworthy. Start thinking of it as your data layer's job to be verifiable. Every answer an agent produces should arrive with these receipts. This came from these specific records owned by these people. Read under this specific permissions through this path. That is not compliance data. That is the difference between an answer you can stand behind in front of a regulator or a board and a liability you cannot explain after it has already done the damage. Concretely, what I want you to demand is this. Lineage travels with the answer in the moment, not reconstructed 3 weeks later during an incident when it is far too late. An agent physically cannot cite a source it was never entitled to read, and if it tries, that attempt is a logged event, not a shrug. And the enforcement lives at the data layer, where you can see the actual graph of who touched what and not left to the good intentions of a model that will confidently tell you whatever it's training. And it's possibly poison memory suggests. The rule is simple. Just put on a wall. If it cannot show its work does not count. If it cannot show its work does not count. Your move this week is almost rude in its simplicity. Take the next important number an agent hands your team, and before anyone acts on it, ask out loud, show me the source. Make the agent or the person who built it produce the lineage. If they can, wonderful. You have a trustworthy pipeline, and if they cannot, you just have discovered that your organization is making real decisions on unverifiable claims, and now you know it before the incident instead of after. We are handing more and more of our decisions to systems that speak in a confident voice and keep no receipts. And that is fine right up until the day the answer is wrong or poisoned or drawn from the data it never should have seen. By then, the decision is made, the money is spent, the customer is gone. An answer you cannot trace is a liability you cannot defend. So make your agents show their work. I am Priyanka Neela Krishnan, and next episode we change gears from trust to time. Because even when you can see your agents and verify their answers, there is one thing you almost certainly cannot do anymore. We'll talk about that in the next episode. Keep up with the speed and see you there. Until then, this is me, Priyanka Neela Krishnan.